the definition of Harvard architecture and Princeton architecture. For Princeton architecture, there are one set of address bus and one set of data bus. Okay, so here the number of words are small, conductors are less, so cost is less. But although we say that it's a slow processing, but uh, nowadays the clock frequency is so fast that it is really not slow. All our computers, our PC, personal computer, that is desktop or laptop, these processors are based on this von Neumann architecture or Princeton architecture. Okay. Actually, there the distance of the length of conductors running from the microprocessor, and the memories that are present in the motherboard, these are relatively long in distance. So, to reduce the length of these long conductors, Princeton architecture is very much required. Okay, so the number of words are less here. But in microcontroller mainly, the code memory, data memory, these are either present inside the microcontroller or are present, although externally, but very close to the microcontroller. So the length of the conductor is very small. Okay, therefore we can afford uh, using more conductors as the length of the conductors are small. So more conductors are used, but with a cheap rate. Obviously, it's not costly therefore, as the length of the conductors are small, so the more conductors can be accommodated. Okay, and the advantage is very fast processing, because one set of one address bus is reserved for accessing data from data memory, and another set of address bus is reserved for accessing code or instruction from code memory. Okay, similarly there are two sets of data bus also. So that is the concept of these two type of architecture. Now I want to say, okay, that there are two versions of computers, or rather the varieties of instructions available in computer. One is the RISC, another is the CISC. RISC is reduced instruction set computer. CISC is complex instruction set computer. A computer having reduced instruction set is called a RISC computer or a RISC processor correspondingly, and a computer or a processor having complex instruction set is called CISC computer or CISC processor. Now in RISC, each of the instruction is carrying out simple type of job. Actually, all the complicated jobs are broken down into smaller and simpler jobs. Okay, like say, what is our learning process? Our learning process can be decomposed into the various small type of tasks, like hearing lecture, noting down something, reading, thinking or understanding, having some practice. So all such things. Now our subject may vary, our teacher may vary, our classroom may vary, our timing of class may vary, but these basic steps are always same for all the subjects, all the teachers, all the classes. That will listen to the lecture, note down something, read something, understand something or think something, write down something, go for some practice, like that. So a bigger task is resolved into simpler type of task. Okay. So each instruction can carry out only that simple job. It cannot carry out complex job. Okay, so just by combining instructions properly, by writing instruction properly, we can arrange or we can aggregate, okay, the sequence of tasks, and ultimately our complicated task or complex task is carried out. That is happening in RISC processor. In CISC, what happens? Each of the instruction can carry out multiple tasks in sequence, one by one in sequence. There. So that is a complicated task. Hmm? Yes. Hello. Any question? No. Actually, your speaker and microphone, they should be separated some distance. Otherwise, the feedback will be there, a positive feedback. Okay, whatever sound is coming from your speaker is again going to the microphone. So that is the example of positive feedback that will result in some unstable system. You know, positive feedback means unstable system, and your amplitude will be enhanced, magnified gradually, and we will hear nothing. Okay, so that is the each of the instructions carry out multiple tasks in sequence. Obviously, for CISC, as each instruction is handling simpler type of job, they are having almost of same length. The duration of execution of instruction is almost same in RISC. In CISC, instructions may be of lot of variation, and different type of complicated tasks are handled by instructions. So the instructions are of varying length, and their execution time is also widely different. Okay. Now in RISC, each of the instruction it is of similar nature, of simpler type. So they are taking, okay, the same number of machine cycles. A machine cycle means, what is a machine cycle? A machine cycle is the duration within which a simple task is carried out. Okay, so each instruction is taking one machine cycle or maybe two machine cycle, not more than this. So a number of clock cycles are constituting one machine cycle. Just like in your 8085 microprocessor, okay, there are 9 machine cycles available. One machine cycle related to read operation, another machine cycle related to write operation, okay, memory read, memory write, IO port read, IO port write, interrupt acknowledge, hold, okay, these types of total 9 machine cycles. In 8051, there are two types of machine cycles. Okay, so each machine cycle is a combination of some T states of the clock. So some clock cycles are combined to generate one machine cycle. So one instruction takes either one machine cycle or just two machine cycles, maybe three, not more than these for a RISC processor. For a CISC, what happens? For a CISC, instructions take different number of machine cycles depending on the type of task associated. When the task is relatively complicated, okay, it will take more machine cycles. When the task is relatively simple, it will take smaller type of machine cycle. Okay, as now that is the happening in CISC. In RISC, what happens? As instructions are of same length, it is easier to pipeline tasks. Pipeline means, I don't want to say pipeline because it will complicate the whole thing. It is required in parallel processing actually. But for complicated instructions, pipelining is not easy, or parallel processing is not easy. Forget about this, it's not required for your purpose. I don't want to explain pipelining right now. If time permits, I will explain later. Yes, Babu. Just hold on, please. Okay. Next is the RISC has no memory unit to execute instruction. Okay, it has a separate control unit or hardware to execute. But the CISC has a memory unit to execute instructions. Okay, there. And in RISC, decoding of instruction is simple because the instruction is handling simpler type of job. But decoding of instruction is complicated for CISC. And faster execution is there for RISC because the instruction length is small and it handles smaller type of simpler type of job. But the execution is relatively slower for CISC. Example, our PIC microcontroller, AVR microcontroller. In our class, we'll discuss AVR. In PIC microcontroller, in AVR microcontroller, in ARM microcontroller or ARM processor. Okay, so RISC architecture is used. Whereas our Intel processors, all Intel 86 to our i3, i5, i7, all the latest processors used in computers, desktop and laptop, everywhere. These are the examples of CISC processor, CISC architecture. Motorola processors also are using this CISC. Nowadays, you know the Motorola, its name is changed. What is that? Its name is Freescale. The name of Motorola has been changed to Freescale. Okay, now, the criteria for choosing a microcontroller. Now, when we want to use a microcontroller to build our own application, the question is which microcontroller should we use? Now, it depends on many factors. One thing is we'll consider the speed of the microcontroller. First, we estimate how much speed do we need and how much speed is available in the market. Depending on that, we'll choose a microcontroller. So speed is one criterion. Similarly, the how much is the memory, okay, contained within the microcontroller. That is the on-chip memory, the memory inside the microcontroller. That is the on-chip RAM and on-chip ROM. If we are not satisfied with that amount of on-chip RAM and ROM, that is the memories, inbuilt memories, we can do two things. Either we can connect some memories externally to the microcontroller, or we can switch over to the higher model of the microcontroller. Get my point? And then the number of IO pins, input output pins. IO pins means the pins that are required to send data to the outside world through the output pin, or the pins that are used to receive data from the external world to the microcontroller. These are the input pins. So how many input output pins are available and how many input output pins we need. Then is the availability of other hardware features like timer, PWM. PWM means pulse width modulation. There are many other features. So which feature should we need and which feature is available in the microcontroller? Based on this, we can select a microcontroller. And another is the ease of change to lower or higher version. When we work in a lower version of microcontroller, later on, if we want to shift it to the higher version, can the program in the lower version will be supported by the program in the higher version or not? So this type of portability. So portability is an issue. Next thing is the packaging. Our microcontroller pins are either a DIP package or a QAP package. DIP is dual inline or dual inline package. So DIL or DIP, it's mostly popular using the term DIP. Okay, so it is a DIP, it is an electronic device package. Here the pins are coming parallelly along the two lines from the two sides of the microcontroller. So that these are all the DIP packages. So parallel rows of electrical connecting pins, conducting pins are there. Another pin is something like the pins are extended from all four sides of the rectangular chip. So pins are coming out. So these leads are gull-wing leads actually, a carved lead. They are extended from all directions to the all directions from the all sides of the IC. So this is the QFP, quad flat package is there. Mainly this type of package is used when one IC is handling more pins, large number of pins. For smaller number of pins, DIP is used. For larger number of pins, normally DIP is not used, normally QFP is used. Okay. Next is now our microcontroller AVR mostly it will be using QFP package. I will show you later. Next is the power consumption. How much power is consumed in the microcontroller and how much power consumption can we afford? Can we tolerate? This is very much required when the microcontroller is battery powered. To avoid the draining of battery unnecessarily, we want that the power consumption in the microcontroller should be as low as possible. Then there are some more issues for selecting microcontroller. For bulk application, for bulk production, the cost per unit is one issue that should be dropped down to as low as possible. Now some availability of feature range is development and technical support. How many different features are available and how much support, technical support can we get from the net or from the expert persons, and the ready availability of the needed quantities at present or in future. That is related to large number of requirement. Not it is not important for our purpose. That's all about this criteria for choosing a microcontroller. Next is we'll see our AVR microcontroller. Now mainly we want to concentrate on our AVR microcontroller, which is traditionally originally it was manufactured by Atmel, but now Atmel is taken over by the microchip company. So AVR is now officially AVR is produced, manufactured by the company Microchip now. Now there are different AVR series available. Tiny AVR, small sized AVR microcontroller. This is used in small application. That is the AT-Tiny series. AT-Tiny series. Mega AVR, the AT-Mega series. In our class, we'll discuss the Mega AVR. This is extremely popular nowadays. Then comes X Mega, that is the AT-X Mega series. There are application specific AVR. In some applications, some AVR microcontrollers are there already. And FS LIC and FPS LIC AVR with FPGA. FPGA, what is FPGA? I don't want to say it now. Field programmable gate array. When you will study the part 1 of this subject, then you will learn what do we mean by FPGA. Actually, in our department, I used to teach the first part also, the both part 1 and part 2 both. But because of too much load imposing on me, just I was forced to quit that discussion of or the teaching part 1. Okay. So it is the AVR with FPGA. That is the I don't want to say what do you mean by FPGA and all this thing. It's a very interesting thing. You will learn this thing in the part 1 of this subject. And 32-bit AVRs are also there in the market. Gradually, it is being popularized. In AT-Tiny series, small microcontroller, as the number of pins are small, mainly they are having the DIP package. Parallel pins are there. and it has some small program memory, 0.5 kilobyte to 32 kilobyte. 32 kilobyte is not really small, it's quite large. And the number of pins are 6 to 32. And the peripherals are limited. That is the ports, IO pins, these are limited because the number of pins are small. And there are small number of instructions available and the packages are smaller. Now in at tiny series, there are different versions available. Here is some example of the comparison of their code memory, data memory, and E square prom also. Some backup E square prom is there for so that the data is not lost even when power is going away. When the power is cut, some important data still remains saved in the E square prom. So at 10 is 13, 25, 44, and 84. Some more at 10 series are there and they're not mentioned here. Okay, some features are mentioned here. Note that the IO pins are also varying. 6 number of pins available for input output data. Okay, and ADC timers are also there. ADC signals features are the analog to digital converter. Some pins are used actually to read data, analog data from the external world. So we don't need separate ADCs, analog to digital converters. The microcontroller is containing inbuilt ADC. That is a great advantage. Some timers are also there. Okay. So next is the tiny AVR. Sorry, the mega AVR. Mega, the number of programs is the example is say at mega 328p, at mega 2560p. At mega 328p, this microcontroller, the upper one, actually this particular microcontroller, the upper one, it is the heart of the Arduino board, you know, Arduino Uno. And at mega 2560, that microcontroller is the heart of our Arduino Mega 2560 board. Now, what is the difference between an Arduino board and a microcontroller? Don't worry, I'll discuss this thing in the class later, not now. Okay. In our microcontroller at Mega 2560, we will discuss this thing in our class. Here, this microcontroller is equipped with large number of pins. Therefore, you'll see the Galois conductors are extended in all directions from all sides of the microcontroller. From all 4 sides of the microcontroller, conductors or pins are coming out because it is having large number of pins. How many pins? 28 pin to 100 pins. So it is a QFP package. It has extensive peripheral set, extended instruction set, multiplication instructions are also there for handling larger program memories. Facilities are there. So a lot of things are there in this microcontroller. Example is Atmega 8, 16, 32, and so. But our target for programming will be Atmega 2560. Atmega 2560. Now some comparison is there. Atmega 8 to Atmega 1280. With the increasing number of model, the code memory increases. Data memory also increases little bit. That is the memory for storing data. E square from size is also somewhat more. Number of IO pins are more, and there are more number of ADCs. 8 number of ADCs, and in the last model there are 16 ADCs. 16 channel ADC means 16 ADC pins are there, input pins are there, and number of timers are also more, 6. But here one microcontroller is not yet present in the table. That is Atmega 2560. Actually, it is not there because our target of discussion will be Atmega 2560. So we'll see all these things in detail later. We will see all these things in detail later. Yeah. Next is our application X Mega series. It has some larger program memory, a number of pins is also not very large, 44 to 100 pins. And some extensive peripherals are there, ADCs are there, all such things. I don't want to say these things. Some ATEX Mega A, ATEX Mega B, ATEX Mega C, these were some series is there. Then application specific AVR, like some LCD joystick is there, one AVR microcontroller is used in some dedicated application. There are other LCD controller, USB controller, advanced PWM controller, CAN controller. There the application specific AVR microcontroller is embedded inside. The application specific AVR microcontrollers are embedded inside those devices. And this one, so some features are there. Different type of application specific AVR microcontrollers are here. So we don't want to see all these things in detail. And the microcontroller with FPGA. This is the board. A microcontroller come FPGA, both are there. So more features are here. It operates with a large frequency. 50 megahertz onboard frequency is really very good frequency. Very, very high frequency. And 32-bit AVR, okay. Normal AVRs are 8-bit, but here these are the 32-bit AVRs. These are also there in the market. Gradually it is being popularized. Now before going to that, we'll see in microcontroller technology there are three type of memories available: a flash memory, SRAM, or simply RAM, SRAM or RAM, and E square from. Flash memory is a read-only memory. It is used to store program, and multiple write facility is there. Multiple erase option is there. Although these are stored in ROM, easily we can write data in the ROM. So our programs are stored in the flash ROM, and it is directly under the control of PC, means not personal computer. PC means program counter. In your study on 8085, you know program counter PC is a register that points to the instruction being executed. So next time which instruction will be executed, that is dependent on the content of program counter. So the program counter will point that this will be the instruction that will be executed next time. So all this flash ROM space will be under the control of program counter, so that instructions will be executed one by one. So that instruction will be executed one by one under the control of program counter, under the supervision of program counter, PC. Next is the SRAM space. It is used to store temporary variable. When you declare any variable in your program, when you declare any temporary variable in your program, a new memory space will be reserved for that. So these are used as a scratch pad. This is also directly under the control of program counter. When the power goes off, the SRAM content will be completely erased. But the flash memory, content of flash memory will not be erased. Program will be saved, but okay, the temporary variable space will be reset. It will be destroyed. Every time we start the program, a new SRAM space will be allocated during the program execution. Okay, and E square from. It is the space where things can be stored, and that will remain there even when power is off. That will not be destroyed. So E square from space. So these are the three things. So mainly in SRAM we are using storing temporary variable and also sometimes data, and in flash ROM mainly we store program. Sometimes the data can be stored, but normally program is stored. Now in AVR, these are some comparison that how much is the flash memory space, SRAM space, and E square from space. Here is the version of the microcontroller, more will be there, capacity. So some examples are shown here. Yes. Next, so that's all about our AVR microcontroller. Today, after the end of the class, I shall send you the chapter 1, material on chapter 1. Yeah. Now I want to go to chapter 2. So that is the overview of microcontroller. Now let's go to chapter 2. So our next thing is the hardware organization of a microcontroller. What are the things present inside a microcontroller? But there is a less than 1 minute available. It will be automatically disconnected. So don't worry, we'll start afresh after this. Okay. Any query, any question till now from the chapter 1? No. Now I'll today also I'll show you what are the microcontrollers, how to buy it from the Amazon also.